bringing Gnosis to the International Dance Festival, and it's really the first kind of solo work I've done in 4 years. I kind of went into doing duets with Sidi Larbishekaway, who was also performing in the festival, or his work. We made a duet, then with Sylvie, and then with Sylvie Guillaume, and then with Juliette Binoche. And so I made a trilogy of duets. So in that period, I hadn't done a solo. And I was very excited to kind of return home. And when I say home, I mean my body. Because I think our home exists in our body these days because we're traveling so much. And so it was just, it was something kind of like tracing back to my classical roots. But at the same time, I didn't want to just present classical. Because it's like looking at a painting. When you see a painting, and then you move away from it and go and see other things, and you come back. Because you've moved away and experienced something else, by the time you've come back, you've changed. And when you look at the painting again, because you've changed, you force the way you look at the painting to change. So in a way, the painting is evolving. And that's what kind of happened with my classical. You know, when I did it 4 years ago till now, I am older, which makes it harder work. But in the same time, I hopefully have grown in other ways, so it's really about kind of coming back to my traditional roots. But because, as I said, I've come around in a circle, I wanted to kind of strip away the kind of classical code. So throughout the piece, slowly it's evolving into a journey which leads towards my contemporary. So I start off as a classical dancer and end up as a contemporary dancer. So that transformation is very important for me. And Gnosis means inner knowledge. So it's very much about, actually it's inspired by Gandhari, which is a mythological female character. And one small reason being of why I wanted to kind of work with her, her character, was because, first of all, women are not explored enough, I feel, especially as heroes. They're all or heroines in mythological stories. It's always the male. And I found her fascinating because she was a very educated woman in the Mahabharata, in the history of Mahabharata, and she was extremely powerful and intelligent. And she was forced, let's say, to marry a blind king. And because she had to marry this blind king, she said that if you give me a blind husband, I'll give you a blind wife. So she blindfolded herself. And she stayed blindfolded, and she gave birth to 100 boys and 1 girl. And through the war of the Mahabharata, all her children, most of her children died. I think all of them, I can't remember. But the fact that she never took a blindfold off fascinated me. That she had to hear the stories of how they were killed. And that takes a lot of power and a lot of courage and a lot of